Course 2, Study Guide 8, number 1, simplify 3 2/3 plus 1/4. I'm going to write them up and down. The first thing I need to do is get common denominators. I'm going to bring my 3 over, and you could even bring a 0 over here if you wanted to, because there isn't a number here. And the common denominator is going to be 12, because that's the smallest number that 3 and 4 will go into. So to get from 3 to 12, I need to multiply the bottom and the top by 4/4, which would give me 8/12. To get from 4 to 12 on the bottom, I need to multiply by 3/3, and I get 3/12. And then when I add, I get 3 plus 0 is 3, and 8/12 plus 3/12 is 11/12, and that's already in lowest terms. Number 2, write 3 and 3.54 times 10 to the third in standard form. Well, multiplying by 10 to the third is the same thing as multiplying by 1,000, and the shortcut of that is taking that decimal place and moving it to the right 3 spaces. So if I go over here and write 3.54, I can move it 1 space, 2 space. That's multiplying by 10, multiplying by 100, and then multiplying by 1,000. Now here's where my decimal point is, so I'm going to write that 3,540. If you want to put the comma, you're welcome to. You don't have to. Number 3, let's simplify. We're going to be dividing mixed numbers, so we first have to make them fractions. 1 3/5 is 8/5. 1 times 5 plus 3. And I'm still going to leave it division. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8/3. Now to divide fractions, you want to keep the first one, just like it is. You want to flip the second one, take its reciprocal, and change it to multiplication. Now I've got some canceling I can do with my 8s. And so now I have 1 times 3 on top and 5 times 1 on the bottom, which is in lowest terms. Number 4, order of operation. 15 minus 2 times 6 plus 3 squared. Order of operation is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and I write it like that because multiplication division comes first after parentheses, grouping symbols, and exponents, but it's whichever one you come to first, and the same thing then adding and subtracting. So here I've got some division, multiplication, and I've also got a power. So I'm going to go ahead and get my power out. I've got 15 minus 2 times 6 plus 3 squared. I had no parentheses, which is 9. So now I'm going to do my multiplication, and I get 15 minus 12 plus 9. And now I'm just going to add and subtract from the left, so I have 15 minus 12, which is 3, and 3 plus 9, which is 12. Number 5, solve this proportion. I'm going to solve it by doing cross multiplication. So 3 times x is 3x. And 5 times 9 is 45. And I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And 3 goes into 45 one time. Subtract, you get 1, and then 3 goes into 15 5 times. So I have x is equal to 15. The ratio of oak trees to maple trees in the park is 5:3. If there are 21 maple trees, how many oak trees are there in the park? So let's set up a ratio box. Notice total is not mentioned. This is before we got to the total problems. So I don't need but 2 rows and 2 columns. I need the ratio and I need the actual. And we've got oak trees. I'm just going to put O for oaks. And I've got maple trees, M for maples. So if the ratio of oaks to maples is 5:3, and if there are 21 maple trees, then the one we need to know is the oak trees. So I can set up a proportion. 5:3 is x is to 21. You can multiply by 7/7 if you recognize that, or you can cross multiply. And you get 3x is equal to 105. Divide both sides by 3. And 3 goes into 105 3 times. And 5 times, so x is equal to 35. And be sure and tell me what it is, and that is oak trees. Number 7, round 13,674 and 7,469 10,000ths to the nearest thousand. Thousand is your whole number, third place here. So the 6 is going to make the 3 go up 1. So I'll have 1 and then 4. And then all of these place values, hundreds and tens and ones, will become zeros. And I have no decimals if I'm rounding to a whole number value. To solve 278 plus a is equal to 531, I need to take 278 from 531. And I have to do a little borrowing. Borrow from the 3, and I have 8 from 11, which is 3. Borrow again, 7 from 12 is 5, and 2 from 4 is 2. So A is equal to 253, and you can check it by adding 278 plus the 253 and see that it does add to 531. Number 9, write 8/11ths as a repeating decimal. So let's divide the denominator into the numerator, always, always, always. And let's add some decimal places because 11 is not going to go into 8. And I don't know how many places I'm going to have to go. So I know that it will go 7 times. 11 times 7, 77. Subtract, you get 3 when you borrow. Add a 0, bring it down. 1130 goes 2 times. Subtract, you get 8. Now you begin to see your pattern again. Add a 0, bring it down. It's going to go 7, which is your 77, and then back to 3. So it's going to repeat 7272. So let's rewrite that as 0.72 with a bar over both of them because it's going to repeat both decimals. To write a fraction as a percent, you can divide the denominator into the numerator and write it as a percent, or you can multiply it by 100% because that's just multiplying it by 1. It'll cancel. 20 goes into 100 5 times, and then 13 times 5 is 65, and then don't forget to bring over your percent, 65%. Okay, let's divide 26.68 by 0.4. So 0.4 is my divisor. I'm going to go over 1 decimal place to make the divisor a whole number, and then I have to move it over 1 here and bring it straight up. And make sure you line up your numbers. 4 won't go into 2, but it goes into 26 6 times. Subtract, you get 2, bring down your 6. It again goes 6 times. And then when you bring down your 8, 4 goes into 28 7 times, and I get exactly 66 7/10. Number 12, I'm adding time units. So let's add, and then we'll come back and clean it up. So I've got 5 plus 8 is 13, carry 1, and then 5 plus 1 is 63 minutes. And then 6 plus 8 is 14 hours. And 5 plus 2 is 7 days. Now let's start on the right and see if we can convert any units to the left. So 63 minutes, 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if I take 1 hour away and make this 15, then I will only have 3 minutes left over. There's not enough hours here to make a day, so we'll just bring it all down as 7 days, 15 hours, and 3 minutes.